Coordination. A lot of people talk about coordination. They say, oh, that person, they're uncoordinated, or I'm so uncoordinated. And coordination is very, very important for the overall picture of how you look when you're dancing. And it is something that can be practiced, but it's a challenge. You have to be methodical about the way that you practice in order to improve your coordination. So we talked some about strike locations, which is an imaginary place in space where some part of your body is contacting the beat, like an imaginary drum. If I said that I have a strike location here and here, then every time I touch those imaginary locations with my hand, that's going to be when I'm hearing the beat with the music. So we need to layer our strike locations in order to coordinate our body. So a lot of the time what looks uncoordinated is when there's different things striking different locations at different times, and then the body looks like jumbled up. So I do what I call layering, which is practicing one part of the body and then adding a second part of the body. So my first strike location was my feet, my second strike location was my knees, then maybe I could add a strike location with my hips going side to side, and then add like a strike location with my hand, or with my elbows, or with my head, even going side, side, side. I know that's easy to say, but it takes quite a bit of practice to layer all of those pieces so they're actually doing what you think they're doing. Sometimes people think that all the pieces are going together, but really there's some renegade thing that's hitting a different beat. So be careful when you're layering that you're really keeping in control of all of those different pieces. Also, part of coordination is opposition. So if I am not using proper opposition in my body won't look coordinated. There's different kinds of opposition. We can have a twisting opposition, where some part of my body is coming forward and some other part of my body is twisting against it. That's the one that I've talked about the most. So I've been saying right foot, left hand, right-left opposition. That's because we're twisting through the body, twisting through the middle. That's what's creating that opposition. It's not the only opposition that exists. Yeah, you can also have front-back opposition. So if I was sending some part of my body back, like my hips, at the same time I might want to send some other part of my body, like my ribcage, forward. Yeah? So they're not both everything going backwards or everything going forward. The whole point of opposition is to stay balanced, so you don't literally fall over. But that naturalness of the opposition is what makes it look good to the eye. So if some part of my body is going forward, some other part's going to be going back, and vice versa. So that would be a front-back opposition. You'll also see that when my rib cage comes forward, my elbows go back. That is also a front-back opposition. Or if I were to do like my knees coming forward, then I would send my tummy back at the same time. So I have front-back opposition there. I could also send my hand forward. So I have front, back, front. Sort of like an accordion through the body. And those sorts of front-back opposition, again, is going to make the body look more coordinated. So it's not just strike locations, it's the coordination of the strike locations opposing each other that makes it look and feel good. Because I could have different, if I tried to make both my tummy and my knee be a forward strike, it wouldn't look very good. So there has to be that forward-back opposition. There's also side-to-side opposition. So let's say I was sending my foot to the side and that knee to the side. At the same time, I could send my hips to the other side. So these things are going to the right, and these things are going to the left, and these things are going to the right. Yeah, so I could have my right elbow and my right foot is opposing laterally my hip. Yeah? So that's a side-to-side opposition. Things are pulling in these two directions. I'm exaggerating so you can see. Yeah? And in fact, I would probably even put my head to the other side so that there's even one more opposing thing. So it goes again like an accordion. So you can have twisting opposition, you can have front-back opposition, and you can have have side-to-side opposition. So if you ever see something that you're like, oh, why are you using the right hand and the right foot? You said to do opposites. Well, it's because this is a side-to-side opposition, a lateral movement versus a forward and back movement or twisting movement. So we're going to have different oppositions for different sort of uses of the body. There you go.